podcast. Hey, podcaststudio@gmail.com. 879-4319. 879-4319.
At the Radio St. George Facebook page, you can communicate with us, watch past and live shows, listen to live audio, and most importantly, be our friend. Like us on Facebook at Radio St. George.
Made possible by the College of Business and Communication at Dixie State University. Radio St. George at 100.3 FM.
This is KDXI St. George, Radio St. George at 100.3 FM. Creator of Energy Healing by Design, Nicole Ashton, a world-renowned healer and luminary whose life after death experience has allowed her the gift of empowering people around the globe to heal and grow into their true authentic space. Nicole, with her natural connection to Source, which has remained open since her return, will help you and your family find the frequency of gratitude and patient love that will assist you in awakening your soul's design. We now welcome you to Return to Consciousness with your host, Nicole.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Return to Consciousness, live with Nicole Ashton and special host, Will Miller. You can say what is your full name and how do we get a hold of you? People asked me that last week.
It's Will Miller, and you can get a hold of me at lifebydesign.institute at my website or by email, willmiller@lifebydesign.institute.
And I'm Nicole Ashton. You can reach me at energyhealingbydesign.com. And you can watch my travels and see beautiful experiences. And this show is all about you. I did get the question asked to me, what is return to consciousness? To me, when I was asking for divine guidance to this, what I should name the show is that we are all, as a collective, we are going into a consciousness state. And even to be born, you're somewhat conscious, right? So when I'm thinking, we're born conscious. So it's not something that we're going to get that we don't know. We're remembering it. We're returning to consciousness. So when you're born, this magnificent being of light, you know that you can close your eyes. You can go back to that universe. You can feel that pure consciousness. You can feel the creator God source that sources you, that delightful life and breath that you are, that you don't even think about. It just happens. And so when I was really researching or like really going inside of myself and my soul to see how to bring people together with different perceptions, I thought consciousness is the best way or the most connected word. Like people are familiar with it in so many different areas of science, of spirituality, and so on. And so that is what return to consciousness to me is. And when we started bringing it together and really, surfing other people's belief systems, other people's ideas, ideologies, we realize that still that consciousness, that pure light, that pure love comes in and you can feel it in your heart. So that is, I hope that answered your question. If not, feel free to ask it in a different way and I will answer it again. We do have other questions that we'll answer later on. Will and I wanted to hit on today the energy and motion, which is emotion. And there's so much to feel, there's so much to hit on that, both in the scientific and the spirituality and consciousness realms, right? So for me, when I was in Vermont this week, I was able to really step into an emotion that I haven't really known how to express for a long time. And that was that grieving or that really divine sense of knowing. So let me just share that I went to see a client that was very ill to the point that not moving off the bed. And when I got there, she started moving. and she's doing better now. So I guess that gratitude, that big, I don't even think that emotion that I'm trying to express is even in the word gratitude. So like when I was sitting there, I didn't know how to express that. It almost caused a congestion in my body, and I was so full of love and energy that it like also just made me completely depleted because I didn't know how to express that emotion in an energetic flow. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So it's really like, what does that mean to you when you think of the energy in motion, when you think of so many emotions that people are holding in right now and not knowing how to express this like I did? I mean, I had to go out and run around because I still don't have that word that I can't identify with that emotion I was feeling at that time.
Well, I mean, scientifically speaking, thoughts and emotions are tied together. What we think about, we feel. We think, we feel, we think, we feel, we think, we feel. We wake up the next day, we start thinking the exact same way we were thinking the day before, and we feel that. And then what happens is a tragedy or something happens in our life, a love, it doesn't matter, a large emotion hits us. And we hold on to that emotion, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, then everything that starts happening in our lives from then on is kind of tied to that emotion. So and we carry it, and we get, like you said, stuck. Right? It's hard to release that emotion. And now you're stuck in that way of thinking and feeling and thinking and feeling and thinking and feeling. And you go about acting upon that as opposed to maybe where it is you need to go, or letting it go, or sharing it with someone else, or whatever it happens to be. So you have to find a way we have to always find a way to release those emotions, those stuck emotions within us, and letting go of those. Gratitude is a good way to do that. Joy, which is a higher state of being than gratitude, at least on a scale of frequency, is a great way of doing that. And tying that emotion to whatever is going on in our life, or gratitude to whatever we can be grateful for, or those kinds of things. And then, of course, in your line of business, trying to share that with someone else who's in a totally different state of emotion, that's the difficult project, right? And that's what you're talking about. So,
yeah, that joy for me is exhilarating, is exciting, and it's unconditional love and emotion. And I can express that very well, and that's why my practice is like it is I have that unfailing love without judgment for so many. But that one moment, I realized I didn't know what to do with my energy, and it literally shut me down to the point that I had to go lay down, and I'm like, I don't really know what to do with this, because I was grateful I was there. I had all this joy to share of like the visions I was seeing and the possibilities of where this lady gets to cross over to, but she didn't want to hear it at the time. And I was just wondering, how does that apply to your life that you're listening, those listeners right now? And feel free to call in. We are taking callers the second half, 435-879-4100. Again, that's 435-879-4100. And you can ask these questions of how we can identify with an emotion to put it in action, how do you get to do that? What are some of your exercises? And when I was thinking of this, it also applied to clients that I've seen, that I'm seeing now and that I've seen in the past. Right now, their energies are so intense because most of them are home, or most of them are in a stillness right now, which we practice that all the time, right? But I found not being able to express the joy, the self-love, all the stuff that I'm meditating about every day, it does cause more of a congestion than me wearing myself out, traveling the world, assisting people. It wore me out more to have all this extended energy and not know what to do with it. It was like, because I feel like it was so confusing, and I know there's so many people out there right now that are going through that same emotion and kind of in a block.
Well, and even more than a block, it's almost like it's a blah, right?
Blah.
The blahs. Everybody just seems to have the blahs right now.
I got the blah right. Woo!
It's hard to move. We are. they call it 6 feet social distancing, but there's nothing social about being apart from other people. And we're used to being able to, especially you as a healer, as an energy healer, having to, release your energy and share that with other people and use it in your healing. It becomes a very difficult thing, and for all of people as human beings. I was with a coaching client earlier today, and having a discussion, and they've been stuck in their business and stuck in where they're at, and can't seem to move forward and can't seem to see the next task even to do, right? Mm-hmm. And even giving them the task to do, it just seems like they're in I don't know what you'd call it, honey almost, trying to run through a swimming pool, if you will, like through water. You can't really run and get up speed. You've got too much against you. And I think everybody's feeling that right now with what's going on. And what are the exercises? And we'll talk about this, of course, more in the second half and as we go along. But there's exercises we all can do on a daily basis and put into daily practice to help us, stay out of the pool, if you will, and be able to run free through.
I'm just loving you right now saying honey pool instead of what I was thinking. What most people are running through is not honey. So good job of twisting that and making it.
Took a few minutes to come up with something.
Because most people would call it something way different. And you know what? Honey smells better.
It does, for sure. Now we all know what we're talking about.
Right. And it's true. It's like that swamp that people are really moving out of. And just when one person's in a healing element, or their consciousness is different, profounder, or no matter how amazing people seem to be, they're still suffering from something at this time, because everybody's shifting in their own way. We might have a different purpose here, which we all are here to purposely bring something amazing and come together. That's our whole reason for being here, is love and unity. And so when you're looking at these people that are going through their honey pools and it's very sticky, love them anyways. It's like you don't know what they're going through in their moments. And I found that out a lot this week, because the lady that I did go see is a healer. She has worked her whole entire life doing plants, botanical gardens and essential oils, and she has literally has acreage in Vermont where she's dedicated her whole entire life to healing others, and now she has several different kind of cancers. And when I was witnessing her, like when I first met her, I would not have thought she was in that amount of suffering, when in the beginning. And then when I went and sat with her, and I really got a profound understanding of why people like go recluse. No, that's not the word. They go within. They introvert. Is that right?
Yeah, become introvert.
Yeah, it's because they want people to heal, but they don't want them to know that they're not healing themselves, or they're in a not a healthy space. And you know what? It felt like to me anyways. And at the end of the trip, I did get. She did share with me. She did chose to almost check out. She's like, I felt lonely, so she allowed that to happen in her body. And how many of us really do that? We have these emotional stucknesses, no matter how big or how small, and without putting them into an emotion and using your thought and using all this beautiful mechanics that you have been equipped with, we start breaking down like your car. If you don't make sure that it's all fixed and there's the maintenance is done, you're going to eventually break down, and your oil is you're not going to have oil. Well, I feel like that's the same with your body. And I learned from her that she gave herself permission to be sick. And how many healers and how many of us that are working in this time space right now, in this reality that is so chaotic, are doing that. And I can tell you a lot, because I do have a lot of healers reaching out right now asking what to do. So it is congestion. It is something that you get to do. Do writing. There's so much stuff that writing is going to let people know, or it's going to educate the many healers, many children, many of us that come after us. So tap into I don't know, I keep getting oil in my head. There must be something that's just flowing through the the knowledge right now of your oil, your essence?
Well, your body once a month puts oil into itself, and it goes up and mixes with the pineal gland and DMT in your pineal gland and serotonin, and it is what really kind of heals your consciousness and your body, and that happens to us once a month, and we can carry that with us longer if we learn and practice to do that. And
no, for the listeners,
so maybe that's what you're talking about, is that oil that we produce ourselves through our spine.
I don't know about this, so I don't know.
All new to you.
Yeah, as far as once a month you resurfacing something, I don't know how do we educate our people that are listening what that means? I thought it was a period, to tell you the truth. I'm like, well, what do men do then? Sorry.
We have our own problems.
So what is this recharge or oil?
No, it's the body itself produces an essential oil, if you will, that goes up through our endocrine system in our spine, and up through and into our pineal gland, which carries DMT and serotonin to our body, and it replenishes those systems, through your spinal cord and your nerve system and your glands, and really it's your glands system that it's produced in. And it's just a natural part of what happens to us. And
so you're talking about the cerebral cortex, and when the
Right.
pranic system is overreacted, or it also can crash, and that would be your adrenals, that would be your immune system. And so once a month you should only pay attention to that, or daily?
No, I think you pay attention daily, because you can't produce, your body doesn't work right if you're not taking care of it right. And I'm not talking just physically. Obviously, how you eat and taking care of your body through exercise, those kind of things matter, obviously. But we have, this mental part of us, and we have this spiritual part of us too. And all three have to be in alignment and in balance. And I like to use harmony better than balance. They need to be in harmony with each other in order to be truly healthy. What I see around me and with my coaching clients right now is they're missing that spiritual piece of themselves. What's going on in the world has robbed them of that spiritual piece, and it's really hard to connect to yourself, and it's really hard to connect to anyone else if you're missing that integral part of yourself, right? And we lose our connection. You and I talked about this last week, and you did the meditation, and I hadn't been able to connect for a while, and all of a sudden you said you saw it happen in the studio while I was doing the meditation. As you looked across at me, you saw that my cheeks flush, and you saw me connect again, and I've had an amazing week because of that, right? And that's that spiritual part, and you're right, most people are afraid to ask, and a lot of people don't know, they just don't know, and they think they can fix themselves, but we all need each other right now more than ever. We all need each other. So.
And meditation is a huge part of increasing that cerebral fluid that goes around your brain, which the body must, as you're saying, scientifically or mechanically, has to take a certain amount of days and then push it through. That's what it's looking like to me in my head.
That's exactly right.
And so keeping that healthy spine then is what I'm getting shown is to, if you're, I have severe scoliosis, and when I went into, and I remember working on that, not necessarily moving my spine to the spinal or bones, but I asked Spirit for enough room in between that fluid could go through, and that I have to actually work on that every single day for that rush to ever come through. And the practice became very, very easy after I practiced it. But I feel like everybody gets to do that. They get to know their body. They get to realize that there's this beautiful flow of the cerebral fluids that moves through your body once a month. And as Mel, do you feel or sense or know when that's coming, or is it just sporadic?
No, I think everyone feels it, because if you really start to pay attention, and if you put into daily practice, say meditation, where you're taking your emotion and your thoughts and you're creating an emotion of joy, for instance, and creating that as part of your day, we all have those days where everything just seems to fall into place, if you will. And you can go 3 or 4 days and everything just seems to work out right. It's beautiful. It's perfect. It's wonderful. And that's really when that is kind of running through your system, recharging you is really what it's about. And if anyone wants to read about this, I do have it's on my blog, on my website. I just posted an article a couple of days ago about it that goes in a lot greater detail, and it actually ties it to the esoteric side a little bit and religion a little bit, and so it might be a fun article for some people.
And where do they find that at?
That's at lifebydesign.institute on my blog page. But if you go to there, and you can read about it in great detail, going into great detail now would take our whole show, but I think people feel it. I know I do. I have that period that I go through every, and it seems like it's about monthly that I have this wonderful week, and
So are we in agreement that male and female have their period, and they are very grumpy?
Well,
some of us.
Yes, I mean,
see, like how connected are we?
Honestly, we all do, and we all carry the masculine and the feminine in us anyway. We all do, and you and I both know that. So that's the law of gender. So
I feel like it's about having fun as you learn too, because people, when we get into these conversations, we lose them. So go to his website, go to Will Miller's website, and find out about this hysteric. I know that's not it, but esoteric parts. He bridges different things, and then mine is a visual. I see what your body does with the information, and mine is a constant generation. Like, I see so many clients and I assist them in so much energy that every day I'm working on the aquatic system. But to know that once a month on a person's cycle of life that they have, looks like to me right now as we're talking, that you work up a certain amount of days to do this combustion through your brain, and then your neurotransmitters will go off and they'll respond. That is amazing for a person to seek within inside of themselves when that is, because I feel like that's when somebody can really create the life they love, is knowing your body so well that you're like, wow, I can feel I'm sluggish. I can feel I'm going into this cycle. I feel like I'm at the top of this cycle, this peak of the cycle. And that's when I can see in my head, like that immaculate love happens, the innate knowing the healing happens. So this is very important for people when they're asking, how do I practice this stuff? How do I practice what you do, Nicole? Like, this is just aha moment for me, is because when you're sharing that's literally what I do. I bring them into that, because usually your abdomen crashes when you have a lot of over emotions, then your aquatic system, and then we have to go through the cerebral cortex, and we get the opportunity to move the energy around the brain to get the body to lift. And if a person can gauge that, then think of what people can do with their creative time.
Well, and I think, we both teach it. 10 minutes is all of meditation every morning to start your day will change your life. Learning this information, adding that to your meditation will change your life exponentially, right? So it's taking this knowledge and this understanding of things that come along and adding it to our daily practices. But most people I talk to have left their daily practice or, aren't doing a daily practice, and that's why they're where they're at. And I do it too. If I get out of my daily practice for more than 3 days, I know it. I'm crashing already.
Me too, yeah.
Right? So.
But I also, mine is that fun. If I can be serious, but if I don't create fun doing it, if there's not something fun about it, I lose interest. So when I meditate, it's all sorts of meditation, walking meditation, music meditation. You know what? Right now in the world that's so dense that we're learning to bring the density up through collectiveness. Like, if you have a music that just uplifts you, that is uplifting everyone around you. I mean, no matter what kind of music it is, if it gets your body to move.
Absolutely.
There's those moments of dancing. That's meditation. There's so many body movement meditations that you can do. Meditation doesn't mean you check out and you connect to Buddha. That means that you are in a state of creation and self-love, and your heart is expanding and people around you are feeling it. I mean, I dance. And that expression has come to me so much. And this lady that I just worked with, the same thing. It was getting her up to move, which was the most amazing spurt of healing that she had. And we're super excited for the next half to do a meditation and share a little bit more. We'll see you in a minute.
After taking some 20 years to finish his first symphony, Brahms settled in at an Austrian summer resort and finished his Symphony No. 2 in a matter of weeks. On the next Chicago Symphony Orchestra broadcast, Herbert Blomstedt conducts the Second Symphony of Brahms, plus music of Mozart and Stravinsky, next time with the CSO. I'm Lisa Simeone.
The Chicago Symphony Orchestra, Tuesdays from 11 to 1 on Radio St. George 100.3 FM.
Did you know you have options for your high school student? The St. George Academy is a tuition-free, college prep, public charter school in Washington Fields for 8th through 12th grade students. St. George Academy students score higher than state average on the ACT, and the Academy provides concurrent enrollment courses at Dixie State University. We also provide bus service from Vista Charter School to the Academy. Details at stgacademy.org. The St. George Academy, your option for a free public charter college prep high school in Washington County.
Dixie Sun News, your source for all of the latest news, sports, opinion, features, and more on the Dixie State University campus. Grab a paper today or visit dixiesunnews.com. Dixie Sun News, the voice of Dixie.
Follow us on Twitter at Radio St. George.
You're listening to Radio St. George 100.3 FM. We now welcome you back to Return to Consciousness with your host, Nicole.
Hello, and welcome back to the second half of Return to Consciousness. I am Nicole Ashton, and today we have...
Will Miller.
It's always like surprise, because you don't know if I'm going to say it or if you're going to say it. Keeps you on your toes.
Keeps me on my toes, that's right? For sure.
I hear working with me keeps people on their toes because you never know what's going to happen. It's always exciting, and this radio is always spirit guided, and the meditation today is going to be, I feel like really earthy. That's what I want. I'm setting the intention to be, but I invite you to set the intention of whatever feels good to you. And Will did have some stuff he wanted to share about how he meditates to create more interesting ways, I guess, to keep it fun, right?
Absolutely. Well, you were talking earlier that meditation, when I talk to people about meditation, immediately they get in their head that I've got to be in lotus position. I've got to have my hands on my knees and my eyes closed. I've got to be somewhere where there's no sound, and I've got to clear everything out of my head. Listen, people, if everything is out of your head, you're dead. So you can't do it. It's impossible. And I tell people, just forget the stuff in your head, and then give your mind something to do. My best way of doing that is giving my mind something to do, and I do it this very simple way. As I'm sitting there, I let everything come into my head, and I just address it, and I be whimsical about it. And sometimes I may be on the treadmill while I'm doing this. Like you said, you can meditate standing up, sitting down, laying down, on the treadmill, dancing, stretching. It doesn't matter. When those moments occur, get in that moment. And then I always ask to receive. Because the minute I ask to receive and I tell my mind, your job is to listen to what is out there in the void, in the ether, in the cosmos, in, divine creator, whatever you want to call it out there. Your job is to listen for it. And then now I've given my crazy mind that's busy all the time something to do, right? And it can go about doing that. And I'll go about doing my exercise or doing my stretching, because a lot of times this comes when I'm on the treadmill or I'm exercising or on the stair step or whatever it happens to be, usually stretching. Those things happen. Or sometimes it does happen. I may just sit up in bed in the morning and go to lotus position and do it that way. It just depends on how you feel in that moment. And people don't get too caught up in this. That's the secret.
So what is whimsical? That sounds just like amazing, but I don't even know that word. So what does it mean?
What is whimsical?
Yeah.
It's just fun, light, easy going. Not going to take anything serious, just going to have a good time.
I'm like, I love that word. It's perfect, but I don't know what it means. So now we know. Be whimsical in your daily doing. You'll find purposeful living, right?
Right.
I feel like that's a song and dance, and also it's beautiful. Thanks for sharing that word with me.
Children seem to have it down. They are whimsical and they don't take anything too serious, and they're not closed off to hearing and seeing in nature. The answers are all around us. Everywhere, in everything we see and everything we do. Most of it we ignore or we play off. But once you open your eyes to the magic of the world, it's amazing how whimsical it becomes, right?
Mm-hmm. I do honor that word. I love it. When I was beginning to do the meditations and things like that, I lay down. I'm a flat on my back, lay down, and energy just moves through me. I sit up sometimes, but I'll lay down. And then the other part is like singing through the house. I don't sing good, but I think I do. And that's like the time that I have I'm just singing, no words. And so when people are asking me what that looks like I don't like to sit in the lotus flower, I don't like to do this, then don't. Lay down, sit down, exercise, run. It's that gap when you have clarity. And some things I will do is I put thoughts come in. They're going to come in, and the more you deny them, the more they're going to bug you. Yeah. So I put them in bubbles, and I witness them pop, or I'm like, oh, not right now. It's like the less attention you give it, the less energy, the less emotion that you give it, then it will begin to, come back, or it'll go away and come back later, because a lot of stuff you think about during meditation does need to be dealt with, but not right now. And it's being that whimsical self-love. But I did find out, or I did discover when I was thinking, I'm like, man, I'm doing this wrong, because I'm watching all these people, how they do it. I'm doing it wrong. And then I went to Spirit and asked, and Spirit said, there's no right or wrong way to do it. So if you are thinking that, then automatically
you've started off wrong.
Mm-hmm. You're automatically you're moving out of alignment with your true nature, with what you're trying to accomplish. You're just moved away from by questioning, am I doing this right? Is this the wrong way? It doesn't look like this person's. And I realized that we all do things so differently, and that's okay. That's okay. So my words may even, when I see stuff, I will describe it as I'm witnessing it with my vocabulary that I've relearned. So sometimes, people have a different perception, and it's okay. And there's one thing that people I've recognized in the last little while, they feel like they need permission to be happy. They feel like they need permission to do anything. Is that a learned behavior?
Well, I think it's part of our conditioning. We've all grown up with this conditioning, and we're being told by our government and health officials and everyone else that we can't be happy. And so we feel like we have to ask permission, which we don't.
That makes sense. I was always curious about that, of why when you're sitting there, you have to give when I give someone permission, I see them go into this amazing space. But as I started testing that, just watching them, and then I'm like, you have this permission to step into that fifth dimension, and then they do things like that. But until you give people permission, they don't try. And I felt like they're not trying like a negative way, like almost they don't know how.
Well, and I think part of it, I think a lot of people are just thinking, well, I'm waiting for this to be over. Then I can fix everything, right? Well, actually, we can fix everything and then this will be over. We've done the opposite thing we should be doing. And that, again, just comes from our conditioning. We're waiting for the government, for the World Health Organization or whoever, right? Our leaders, whatever, to come to us and say, okay, it's okay now. Go ahead, move forward. Right.
And isn't that's so interesting how even in your own internal self-help or self-awareness that's such a pattern of belief system that has been created that it's really hard to move everybody out of, so today we give you permission to shine. We give you permission to go into this most amazing space and relax and really call in what makes you shine and brings you the most joy. And you know what? Some of you might not understand what we're talking about. And there's probably some that are curious and some that just are dislikers. But guess what? It's your choice. You can click off or you can stay on. You can shelf it for later and you can experience what you do. But it's being open to and allow something different. I mean, if you're listening to us now, or when you listen to us, then you're here for a reason. That you're seeking for something bigger. And most of you, as a child, that are attracted to the energy of us and that is going on and the oneness, you from a little baby child. I love that word. I don't even know what it means, but it's been coming up in all my clients as a baby child. So. When you were this child, you would look at the stars and you would feel there was so much more. And today I invite you to go back to that little space, that little person that you are. And remember, give yourself permission to shine, to be you, to keep your innocence, no matter of what life has experienced you. Or really life has experienced you if you think about it. I mean, because you are this beautiful spiritual being experiencing human conditioning. I don't even think it's a human experience anymore. I feel like it's the conditioning that we're breaking through. And today we're going to invite you to give yourself permission to step into that little baby child that you are and shine. And so as we invite you to close your eyes and step into this meditation with us and allow yourself to receive. And as you are closing your eyes, feeling your body relax, you're going to feel, sense, or know this overwhelming expression in your heart. There's this white light that is just emanating from within inside of you. The connection that you are born with. This soulful delight that is just waiting to express itself, express you as oneness to everything that is surrounding you and everything that is inside of you. And I invite you just to feel everything around you disappearing as you melt into yourself. And a white light above your head shines brighter and brighter and brighter. Imagine this white mist moving down the top of your head and feel it just accentuate in your heart, expand in your heart. And we call this energy to you in respect to your design, in respect to the cycle of life that you are at right now, the perfect spin for you, holding your space exactly where you're at, in gratitude for who you are, and in knowing you're exactly where you need to be right now. You're going to feel the energy move down your torso, hip to hip, down into the heart core of Mother Earth, where you're going to feel, sense, or know this delightful diamond energy, this diamond rays, these diamond lights, pools of love, unfailing love, and nurturing. Invite you to breathe like you're sucking through a straw. Breathe up that love. Move it through your body, your legs, your torso. really feeling your body embodied. So all of this light is embodied in your physical cells of your body. And as you're self-nurturing, feel your skin, how beautiful it is. Be in love with you. And everything that is moving down from above is now being invited in every cell of your body. You're allowing yourself to receive you, this soulful part of you that's so delightful and so unfailing. This love that you are just emanating. Allow yourself to express that through every cell of your body. And at this moment, each one of those chakras inside of your body, which are energy wells that move the energy from above and from below, it is wheeling it through every cell, every organ, through your bone, through your skin, and clearing and cleansing your energy field around you. This is you. This is your delight, your essence. And the one you've been waiting for, the one you've been praying for, I invite you to go look in the mirror and recognize you're the one you've been waiting for. Fill your heart with that knowingness and that unfailing love, that spark of light, and be in joy wherever you're at in this time, space, and the reality that is surrounding you. Ask yourself, what can I do today to show up the best version of myself? And each day do one thing and expand it, feel it, love it. And you'll find yourself falling in love with yourself and the love and the loving the life that you've created around you. And you will live again. You will be again. I invite you to feel your connection to everything above, everything below. Any disharmonies in your body, such as aches or pains, breathe this light in. Focus on that space that is feeling heavy, and breathe that out. And breathe the light back in. And feel yourself up with divine light that you were created in. Now I invite you to feel your feet touching the ground. Vision tree trunks coming up your body, moving through your torso, out your arms, and really grounding you into this time-space continuum in this reality. And some might want to put their feet in the rocks and ground yourself into this earth that is such a gift and a blessing to be a part of right now. Value that very breath that you've been gifted. And love that Father, God, Creator, Source, whatever that is that you trust from the above to below. Give the gratitude for breathing life into you every second of every day. And as you open your eyes, give yourself permission to shine and have the best week ever. And as always, those meditations come with the most gratitude and love. So it be. So that was quite the divine inspiration. How are you feeling, Will Miller?
I'm feeling relaxed. I really am. That was a good one. And I cherished all the thoughts that came to me during that because they were probably answers. So it worked out great. So.
Isn't that amazing? In that short time, you can bring to light things that you've questioned. And each week we're here to assist in this very process or opening to healing. And so, like we've shared before, that the healing and the messages have no time, space, or between us. So like if you choose, or if you are watching this later on still it applies to you. It fits right when you need it, and it will do whatever you're designing. And so I'm seeing that maybe for next week, what you can do is write down an intention or write down what you're desiring to work on. And so as the group healing happens and we walk into these meditations, then the energy that's being shared and that's being brought forth is going to touch you where you need it to be addressed in your life. So, and I'm still coming back, so you might have to take over for a minute, Will Miller.
Well, as you're talking, I think another thing that our listeners can do, especially ones that aren't watching at the time that this is on, or listening at the time that it's on, is just even email us their questions for next week, so we can address those as we go through the show. I know that both of us, after last week's show, had questions asked to us, and we try to answer those in the show as we go along, but it's kind of nice if we can address some of those direct questions. So if you're listening later on or now or whenever, just please feel free to email us. And I'm just Will Miller at lifebydesign.institute, and you're Nicole at, I can't remember, you're going to have to say it.
I am energyhealingbydesign.com. You can go into a comment page there. I'm looking forward to creating a return to consciousness. I used to have that page just up, and we can replay our shows on that. You also can go to Live with Nicole on Facebook, and Will, yours is...
It's Life by Design Institute on Facebook as well, at Life by Design Institute.
Drop your comments here, too. You can drop your comments below, and we will answer them after the show. Again, like I was sharing last week, we really want this to be interactive, so we're going to somehow work it so that we have other people or something answering the questions that you guys are dropping in comments. And when you are commenting, we're going to give a free healing away. We're going to start giving free stuff away. We're going to, or complimentary stuff away, so that we can really work on building a community where you can ask those hard questions, where you can be in the oneness of accepting and allowing each other. I've had some interesting things last week. Some mutual friends of ours I've had a different view than them, and online, it looks like we're having a conflict, but we're not. We're not at all. We are embracing the different views, and then later on they're like, "This person was mean." I'll get private messages. It's like, "So and so was mean to you," and I'm like, "No, that is what it like." To me, it was like, thanks for asking these questions, because it's making me. I get to go look at a different view, or I get to respect you for your view, but I'm still going to stick with mine. But it gives this cooperation of communication that was so beautiful. And so for those that thought that certain people were being frustrated with me because I'm always like positive, I'm positive in things. I do talk about child trafficking, and I do have my voice there. And there has been people that ask how I can be so spiritual when I'm directly involved with a lot of that. That is where the spiritual people need to be. They no matter if you're stepping front line or if you're sending a blessing, those babies need you. Those children need you. Those vulnerable women and children and many of them need us to stick together and bring awareness. And without awareness, then us that've been doing it for several years would still be doing it on our own. But by bringing awareness, I found that these kids, these awarenesses, women, vulnerable people are being saved and being helped because of you guys coming together, viewing or listening to the posts, being brave enough to repost. It's this community has come together full force, and I appreciate it. And when people have a different view than I do, it's okay. And when we have a comment, like it's very, very like, I just hope some of those people don't think that that's a negative twist. It's just different views, and that's okay.
Well, everybody has their own story, and everybody comes from a different place. So we live in a diverse world. Mm-hmm. It's time for that diverse world to come together, not be apart. And none of that should be taken personally. What someone comments, I had some controversial stuff I posted last week, and I did it mostly just to get a reaction out of people, and you know, none of it is meant to demean anyone or anything else. It's meant to get different viewpoints. That's all.
I say ask the questions. I wouldn't be walking and talking, and hundreds of thousands of people wouldn't be healed today because if I wouldn't have asked the hard questions of how to heal my body and kept asking and asking the light and asking Creator, Source, God, whatever that looks like. I kept asking and asking, saying, I know I can heal my body. If I wouldn't have kept asking those, I wouldn't be here. So I feel like that's the same. And if you don't bring awareness and you're not asking these questions, like most of them are really innocent for me. I don't know the answer. I'm asking you for a positive view, not when someone answers me like in a negative, forceful, and I don't want to listen anyways. So
Right.
We have just a few more minutes. So we're super excited. This time went by way, way fast. We are super excited to be here next week at the same time. We are looking forward to your questions. Remember, this is Spirit Guided Radio, and it was started to bring you guys together, to bring us together, to remember oneness. And so email us what you seek again. If you seek more healings, if you seek more information, looks like our phone lines might not be up yet, but that is why we're asking the questions through the comments below and emails. So you can email me anytime on energyhealingbydesign.com and Will Miller.
Lifebydesign.institute.
Have the most amazing week.
You've been listening to Return to Consciousness with your host, Nicole Ashton, creator of Energy Healing by Design, a world-renowned healer and luminary whose life after death experience has allowed her the gift of empowering people around the globe to heal and grow in their true authentic space. For audio and or video of this, go to Facebook or YouTube, Podbean or Spotify, and search Radio St. George or radiostgeorge.com. We invite you back next Wednesday at 4 o'clock for Return to Consciousness with Nicole Ashton on Radio St. George 100.3 FM.